America's News Now. After facing a cyber attack, operators of a major U.S. pipeline are hoping to restore service by the end of this week. And joining us now to discuss the hack in greater detail is cybersecurity attorney Leeza Garber. Leeza, good morning. We know the FBI confirmed Monday afternoon that the Russian organization DarkSide responsible for the cyber attack on the Colonial pipeline network. What do we know about this organization?
Good morning, Jan. Great to see you. So DarkSide is a very organized but new hacking group, and it's looking like they're operating out of Eastern Europe. They do target US and European entities. And what they do is they sell ransomware as a service. So basically anybody can buy from them. They have a customer service hotline, they have a victim hotline, and they offer the opportunity to use ransomware, which, as we know, basically encrypts an entire system, makes it unusable, inaccessible until somebody pays a ransom. What they also offer is the opportunity to steal data as well.
And we know DarkSide stole around 100 gigabytes of data, and they did that in just 2 hours. How does a hack like this happen, and do we know what type of information was actually captured during the hack?
Unfortunately, when large profile hacks happen like this, they're very hush-hush about the details. We don't know a lot so far, but let's step back and put this in context. When we talk about a ransomware attack, it can spread very quickly. So Colonial Pipeline has said they proactively shut down much of their computer systems to try to stop the hack from spreading. And when we talk about their computer systems, many people are asking, well, how does this actually interfere with the operations of a fuel pipeline? And really what we're talking about is informational technology, the tech that we think about when you go into a regular office job, email, checking into the system. And then there's operational technology. And that's what much of our critical infrastructure relies on to get supplies from point A to point B and to know their customers. So when they've stopped the systems, they've not only stopped access, which is why many of us are panicking at the pumps, but they've also potentially taken data related to their customers, their fuel lines, things like that.
And DarkSide did release a statement, and if we can show that on the screen right now, this is their statement. They say, we are apolitical, we do not participate in geopolitics, do not need to tie us in with a defined government and look for our motives. Our goal is to make money. And they wrote, and not creating problems for society. From today, we introduce moderation and check each company that our partners want to encrypt to avoid social consequences in the future. You know, it sounds pretty ominous. What can be done to stop this group and others like it?
It's an interesting statement too, right?
Yeah.
Because we're talking about criminal activity. So whether we want to trust it or not is another thing. And many
Correct.
people that engage in ransomware have a real problem because sometimes even if you pay the ransom, you're not necessarily given the decryption key. And you're also put on a knowing list of victims that pay. So that's a whole other issue.
Well, you're not going to engage with this criminal, this group right now, right? This is not something you would do.
The federal government recommends that you never pay a ransom. But when we talk about ransomware in general, the idea of having your entire system locked up is extremely problematic. And in critical infrastructure, which is largely privately owned, there are no cybersecurity standards that necessarily apply. So many of these pieces of our electric sector, water, fuel, have very outdated computer systems, and that's part of the problem.
So what other pieces of infrastructure do you think could be a target, and how can we just be sure this does not happen again?
Ransomware, unfortunately, will definitely target critical infrastructure moving forward. It is one of the hottest cyber attacks. In the past year, we've seen $350 million extorted from unknowing victims. It's risen in popularity 300% over the last year. And what these critical infrastructure pieces really need to do is update their systems. They need to think about cyber hygiene. And Biden has said that his administration will make it a priority. But right now, Colonial Pipeline hasn't said they want any help from the federal government.
It's interesting that these infrastructures that are so important to our American way of life are so easily accessible to some computer hackers all the way around the world, isn't it? It's just crazy.
It's scary, especially when you think about the standards that we have. We think about financial security and healthcare data security, but what about our water supply? What about energy and electric?
Yep. All right, Leeza Garber, always great to talk to you. Thanks so much for the insight.
Thank you.